I'm watching LaMelo Ball, Mello. I don't want to confuse the two. Um, you know who he kind of reminds me of? There's some Ginobili to his game, right? Like Melo's rhythm is foreign. And I don't mean that literally. What I mean is like he throws, there's an irky jerkiness in his rhythm. It's not a normal rhythm and it throws defenders off. And it amazes me how he's on balance, yet his feet are always so narrow, right? His feet are always almost together. And he's got that swervy rhythm. Now, Ginobili didn't handle the ball as much, right? Ginobili was probably a little more efficient, but they both have that weird rhythm. Their styles are a little bit different, but I see some Ginobili in LaMelo Ball. And last night, I was really more impressed with his defense. There was a sequence down the stretch where he was helping and trapping Tatum in the corner / wing area. And he low-key looked like Draymond. The way he would double, he got back, he stunted. He just completely disrupted the play. And for a 19, 20-year-old kid, that was just advanced help defense there. I was really impressed with that. Charlotte, I think it's no secret they are probably the most fun team to watch in the league. You combine all the youth, all the athleticism, the announcer, right? They got the fun colors. I said something the other day, right? I said, that Charlotte, that Carolina blue makes them all look like smaller and the same size. No, they're the longest team in the league, right? McDaniels, Bridges, Oubre, Gordon Hayward looked like he had a little bit of extra juice for Boston, right? As he should. And so they're just super lanky, athletic, fun. How many times have we seen the Celtics team battle back in the game, right? Down the stretch, you saw Marcus Smart kind of bully Melo for an inbounds pass, which to me, that looked like that was kind of on Gordon Hayward, right? He balked at the initial pass, kind of pump faked, let Smart get into Melo and then steal the ball. We wind up in overtime where Jaylen Brown has the dunk of the year early, which just ended things on Miles Bridges. I don't got to tell you about it. I'm sure you've seen it all over social media. And it's early, right? It's going to be hard to pass that dunk this year for me. I think that's probably going to be the dunk of the year when you look at the context of it. You're in overtime and you look over and you see one of, if not the biggest leaper in the game. I mean, if Bridges would have got that, Jaylen Brown probably would have been hurt. The way he sold out and cocked that thing back and that momentum swing on the road, that was the statement that just ended it, right? And Jaylen Brown, man, he's gotten so much better with his handle, change of pace, and footwork. It's a combination of things. And really, you could argue that that's all one thing. You could just call it handle, right? But it's the change of pace. Remember, in his younger years, everything was as fast. Everything was at the same speed. And then you look at his footwork, right? And it's really a testament to an A-level athlete not resting on his athleticism. And that's why you're seeing Jaylen Brown get better and better each year, right? He's not just resting on being athletic. He's building a skill set. Shame on Charlotte's telecast for not showing the dunk. I get it. You don't want to do that to Bridges, but come on now. Come on now. You have to have some level of, is this a word, objectivity? I believe it is, right? And so you got to show that. That was one of the best dunks of the last 5 years in overtime. You kind of want to show the replay. But I think we all saw it everywhere else. Jason Tatum with the 40-piece, kind of the breakout of the first 3 games here. And he's so much better with 3 dribbles or less, right? And you look at some guys, you look at like a Harden, a Luka, with each little dribble, it's like they become more potent and efficient and rhythmic into their shot. But then there's some guys where it's the opposite. Usually the bigger bodies, a Tatum, a LeBron, an Embiid, right? Anything over 3 or 4 dribbles, the more they dribble, the less efficient they get. And so this isn't counting. If Tatum's bringing the ball up, obviously he's taking a bunch of dribbles to bring the ball into the front court. But if he catches to operate, if he could keep it 3 or 4 dribbles, that's where you see him so efficient, so big. His footwork and Brown, you could see him and Brown, they're doing the same drills, right? And so Tatum comes through, and it kind of felt like Charlotte blew that game, if you want to be honest. But Boston, no stranger to these close games where they're always kind of coming from behind, and then it's like, do they have enough energy to finish? They get it done in overtime in Charlotte Monday night on the back of a Jason Tatum 40-point night. Here's my hot take, Warrior fans. I know those of you that aren't part of the Patreon are like, well, talk more Warriors, talk more Warriors. I can't give it all away. It's got to be in the breakdown, baby. But is Damian Lee not going to just swoop in and take the Sixth Man of the Year award from Jordan Poole? Like, Jordan Poole was the trendy, there was 2 picks for him, right? Either most improved or Sixth Man of the Year. You had a lot of people in the media kind of predicting that he was going to get one of those awards. And all of a sudden, brother-in-law, Damian Lee has been, you could argue, maybe like the 3rd best player for the Warriors early this season. Clutch shot after clutch shot, and just the familiarity with the personnel, the system, the confidence. And he came up big again as the Warriors fell behind to a Thunder team. This is so true. Like, if you don't hoop or play sports, you may not have experienced this, but it's so true. It's sometimes when you play a team like the Thunder that are tanking out the gate and have nothing to lose, it can get tough, man, because there's no pressure. They come out letting it fly, and last night they happened to be hitting threes. And so they built a double-digit lead. The Warriors steadied the ship. And again, Damian Lee, Otto Porter had some big minutes for him. And so now the Warriors are 4-0, headed back home for an 8-game homestand. And what I'm checking for, what I'm curious for, I really do want to see Kuminga debut. We'll see if Kerr plays, and Moody's kind of got iced out of the rotation here because D. Lee's played so well the last couple games. What I want to see on this 8-game homestand is, look, the Chase Center is never going to be Oracle, right? We know that. But are they going to eventually here have a home court advantage with the crowd in San Francisco? And they kind of get a pass because we know the laws, the COVID laws, the masks. San Francisco is, I think, probably the most conservative city in the country when it comes to COVID right now, right? I'm down here in Arizona and in the Phoenix area. Fools was acting like it never even happened, like from the jump. So the South is different. We know that. But San Francisco, we know everybody's still masked up and there are a lot of precautions being taken. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying what it is. And so I think that that's factoring into the crowd and the noise there. But you just wonder if the Warriors are going to be a contender this year where they're looking better than I think even people anticipated. Are they going to not have a home court advantage because the crowd's going to be muffled and quiet and not at capacity? And so that's what I'm looking for in this 8-game stand coming up. I forgot one thing. People were asking me, what's good with Dame? What's good with Dame Dollar? So I went back and I looked at every field goal he took in these first 3 games. You know the story. He's 2 of 24 from 3 from the first 3 games, right? Look, Dame is 31 years old. But he has a lot of wear and tear. Like, you could argue he's done more heavy lifting in his 9 or 10 year career than anybody in the league, or as much as, right? So he's an elder 31, if you will. And what I see is it could be one of 2 things. He decided to chill this summer and he's kind of working his way into shape, and that's why he doesn't have his legs under him. Or he's lost a little. I don't like using the phrase lost a step. He's lost a little bit of juice in lifting his legs as he's getting older, right? And because of that, what I'm seeing is he doesn't have the pop in his legs. If you go and you look at his misses, he's fading or he's drifting left on almost all of those threes. And when you just close your eyes and you think of Dame, you think of that pound dribble and then how he just quickly pops up and elevates into that jumper, straight up and down most of the time. I know he's dynamic. He can lean and fade at times, but the signature Dame Lillard 3 is kind of more textbook up and down, and he's drifting and he's leaning because he doesn't have his legs. Now, either way, he'll figure it out. He'll calibrate and figure out like, oh, I have to recalibrate this. I don't have the lift in my legs, or he'll get in shape and he'll eventually find the lift in his legs, whatever it may be. But that's what I see going on with Dame, and people saying, well, and they are right. Dame does kind of get a pass. And look, such is life, y'all. Such is life. Dame Lillard is beloved amongst fans, the players, the media. And so he came out the gates first 3 games struggling, and people aren't on his neck. There's various reasons for it, but this is just how it is. People don't get treated the same. I know I heard a lot of people talking about, ain't nobody giving Dame no flack. Well, let's see if this continues. I think we will hear about it. But that's what I'm seeing with Dame and all those missed 3 balls. This is the Hezzy, brought to you by basketballgods.net. I'm out, y'all.